Hi everyone. Paul contacted me the other day to do a very brief presentation to the network at this particular time of unprecedented crisis across the globe. For those who don't know me, my name is David Campbell. I'm an executive coach and speaker, author, celebrant, woodworker, and I'm part of Network One on the Tuesday morning group. Let me start by painting just a picture of my business for you at this particular time. The year started very slowly for me in terms of business and getting things rolling. The fires had an impact on things. Generally, businesses were not reaching out for the kinds of services that I offer. It was at this stage that I decided, along with my wife, that I would undergo some very much needed back surgery. So we booked that in and planned that for February. And I closed my books in essence for the period of February, March, and February and March, allowing me time to recover from surgery. And I'm actually sitting here today in that situation. I'm in that recovery phase. And I started to build a little bit around returning to work in April, so getting some bookings in place and getting clients lined up and all those sort of bits and pieces. As recently as Friday, all of my bookings for April and May and June have been cancelled. I have, in essence, no income coming in between now and the end of the financial year. I'm certainly working to change that so that I have a level of cash flow. But that puts you in perspective of where I sit in this current climate. Now, I say all of that so that I can make my next point. And my next point is that I'm actually totally at peace with everything that's going on and where my business is at. And people are going to say, well, how can that be the case? You see, I have an underlying belief that how I view things determines how I do things. So if I sit here and get all bent out of shape over the fact that there's this crisis and I've got no clients and all the rest of it, I will literally drive my business into the ground. And we're already seeing that with so many organizations that at the moment they are panicking. So what I wanted to do was firstly start by giving you a few thoughts about crisis itself. Let me start by defining crisis. I did a quick look up in the dictionary. Crisis is defined as a time of intense difficulty or danger, a time when a difficult or important decision must be made, and from a medical point of view, a turning point of a disease when an important change takes place, indicating either recovery or death. And I see that definition of crisis working really well in the current situation that we're in, particularly the medical component of that, when you apply it across into a business context. So I'd like to give you a few thoughts just in this short video that I hope will encourage you and I hope will coach you through a process of staying buoyant, staying ahead of the wave and actually coming out the other side stronger than where you've gone in. So let me start. The first thought that I want to give to you is crisis is actually more common than we think. And if you look back through history, there's endless numbers of crises that we've seen even in our own lifetime. If you think about it, we've had Y2K, we've had the anthrax, we've had the SARS epidemic, we've had E. coli, we've had the global financial crisis, we've had swine flu, we've had ISIS. All of these things have been a crisis for businesses in some way, shape or form. And I suppose the point that I want to make to you in saying that it's actually more common than we think is that we can learn from a famous old wise man who once said, "This too shall pass." And I think it's important that you keep your perspective around this. The reality is, yes, we may be locked down for several months. We may be in a position where things become tight, but it will pass and we can come out the other side. The question then comes, what can we do about it? The second point that I want to do is that in a crisis, you get distracted. And I have made a personal decision that I'm actually going to fast from listening to the media. Um, and that might sound a bit bizarre, but there are government websites you can go to for the most recent updates on what's in place, what's happening, all of those sort of things. So you don't need to listen necessarily to the media. I feel that the media has an agenda within it that is interpreting and providing a commentary on the current situation that is not helpful for where we're going. And I'll just give you a very quick example of that. This morning when I woke up, the radio came on, listening to the news, and the news media said Victorian and ACT schools have closed from Tuesday and that the holidays have been extended. Now, when I actually went and looked this up, it's not true. Yes, the schools were closing, certainly in Victoria, but in the ACT where we are, the schools were closing and going online. And they had totally ignored that and put the spin on it that these kids are all now going to be home on extended holidays. No, they're not. The government is trying to continue that education process, and through very diligent school teachers, they will have online classes starting from Tuesday. So that's going to present a whole lot of other issues, but it is the truth. So just be very conscious of the media that you're listening to and the interpretation that they are putting on this, the spin that they're putting on it. You have to remember, they're driving for headlines because everyone's got the coronavirus. So let's drive for a headline that draws us apart. It's business practice, isn't it? So I've made that decision not to get distracted by the media. And so I'm doing, in essence, a fast from the media. Yes, I'll watch the news at night, but I'm not going to stick to the TV and listen to it and go, woe is me, everything's falling, you know, the sky is falling on us. It's just not helpful or healthy. The third point, a crisis reveals what is actually happening on the inside. When you think about it, you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. You squeeze a Holden car, you get lemonade. In a crisis, if you squeeze your business, what do you get? Do your team, do they panic? Are they living in an environment of absolute fear? This is where you as the leader of your business need to step up and show that leadership, show that intent. How can we move forward? What can we do? Develop those strategies with your team. More on that in just a moment. The fourth point that I want to raise for you is the one on is the one about the crisis actually requires us to be adaptable. I've been talking now for well over 2 years about the need for us as business owners to think differently about our businesses, to think differently about not just looking backwards at a profit and loss or at a balance sheet or at a sales record, but to actually look forward at the potential. This crisis is offering us a massive potential, and we need to see it for what it really is. If we go into this crisis looking backwards, we will definitely come out having run aground. So I would suggest that you take the time, even right now, take the time to stop and think. Think about where you want to come out of this global crisis. Do you want to just crawl over the finish line? Do you want to come out stronger than you have been before? Is this an opportunity for you to change the way you do things and, in essence, ramp up your business and come out ahead of where all of your competitors might be? That opportunity is yours in this moment of time. And it will be the clever thinking entrepreneurs who embrace this opportunity. What's your current reality? I shared mine at the beginning of this. The importance of knowing what your current reality is that it can help you define how you get to your goal, how you get across the line and the strength that you want to finish that with. As I said, I want to finish strong. I want to do this and come out as the coach that people go to when things are tough. So with that in mind, I'm building strategies around my social media posting, my video online, all of those sort of things, which are aimed at putting me out there as the go-to coach when it comes to growing your business and understanding how to get to the next level. And that's really what we're at. That's where we're going. So the third part of this is what are the things that we can do right now to position ourselves as the crisis comes to an end? I saw online recently a chap saying it's all good that we've got this plan to close things down and isolate and all the rest. How are we going to reverse this when the time comes? What's the strategy? We should be thinking these things through. Think about where you fit, for example, in the supply chain. If your business has suppliers and you deliver products to another business, if either end of your chain goes down, what happens to you? So it takes a moment to sit back and think, hang on, I need to have a bit of a novel thought here. How do I support those other businesses around me to help me stay in business? I do that by keeping them in business. So how do we do that? It's really interesting. I was chatting to a taxi driver the other day who was dropping me at a restaurant, and his comment was that 60% of his fleet is now idle. And I said to him, what do you mean? And he said, well, business is not there. And I challenged him and threw a quick one. I said, yeah, look, we know that Uber Eats exists. So why can't you go and approach some local restaurants that you're regularly dropping clients to and actually offer to do an Uber Eats style of delivery service? So rather than take customers to the restaurant, take the restaurant to customers. And he looked at me dumbfounded and said, that's actually a really good idea. So I don't know if he's gone off to do that, but as a taxi driver, he could go and talk to supermarkets, to restaurants, to newsagents, to you name it. Anyone who delivers a service where the customer has to come to them can flip that over and deliver the service out through someone like a taxi driver. So those business opportunities are in place. You just need to seize them. You need to look differently. And, you know, I'll be the first coach along with all the others in the group to say, and that's where you need us, because we will help you change the way you think, change the way you actually process through this time frame. It all requires that you actually develop a positive attitude to change. Change the way you think, increasing your attitude and becoming positive will actually change the altitude of your business as you come out of this. It will make you stronger. So anyway, look, that's enough from me. A couple of quick tips for you to change the way you're thinking. Approach this as an opportunity rather than as a blockage in the road. If you want to follow me and get some more information, I am posting on a daily basis on both Facebook and LinkedIn, primarily LinkedIn, but on both Facebook and LinkedIn. If you wanted to reach out and have a Zoom call with me, I'm more than happy to do that. You know, as I said, I'm sitting home recovering from back surgery. So from that point of view, I can sit with a computer. I'm doing that right now on this video, literally sitting at my computer in my lounge room, recording this. So reach out to me. You've got my details on the website. Go and reach out, touch base with people. But can I urge you, think about how you can grow your business and how you can survive through this crisis. My name's David Campbell. I run a business called State Your Business. I'm part of Network One, and I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you for listening.